Admire. I admire his courage. Adore. I adore my grandparents. Affection. I feel a lot of affection from my friends. Agitation. The news caused a lot of agitation. Amazement. I looked at the stars with amazement. Amusement. I find amusement in watching comedies. Anguish. I felt anguish over the loss of my pet. Annoyance. I expressed my annoyance with the noise. Anticipation. I feel a sense of anticipation for the upcoming event. Anxiety. I suffer from anxiety. Apathy. I have a feeling of apathy towards politics. Apprehension. I have apprehension about the future. Arousal. The music caused a feeling of arousal. Awe. I stood in awe of the natural beauty. Bitterness. I feel bitterness towards my past. Bliss. I experience pure bliss on my vacation. Boredom. I fight boredom by reading books. Bravery. I commend his bravery in the face of danger. Calmness. I find calmness in nature. Cheerfulness. Her cheerfulness is contagious. Compassion. I have compassion for those less fortunate. Confidence. I have confidence in my abilities. Confusion. I feel confusion about the instructions. Contempt. I feel contempt for dishonest people. Contentment. I find contentment in my simple life. Courage. It takes courage to speak your mind. Curiosity. My curiosity leads me to explore new things. Defeat. I accepted defeat gracefully. Delight. I take delight in spending time with my family. Depression. I struggle with depression. Desire. I have a strong desire to succeed. Despair. I feel despair when I think about the future. Determination. I admire her determination to achieve her goals. Disappointment. I felt disappointment when my plans were cancelled. Disgust. I feel disgust at the sight of cruelty. Dislike. I have a strong dislike for spicy food. Dismay. I felt dismay at the news. Distress. The situation caused me a lot of distress. Distrust. I have distrust for politicians. Doubt. I have doubts about his sincerity. Dread. I feel dread before exams. Eagerness. I have an eagerness to learn new languages. Ecstasy. I felt ecstasy when I achieved my goal. Elation. I felt elation after winning the competition. Embarrassment. I felt embarrassment after making a mistake. Empathy. I have empathy for people who are suffering. Enthusiasm. I have enthusiasm for my work. Envy. I don't feel envy towards others. Euphoria. I felt euphoria after the concert. Excitement. I feel excitement before a trip. Exhaustion. I felt exhaustion after the long hike. Fear. I have a fear of spiders. Fondness. I have a fondness for animals. Friendliness. I appreciate his friendliness. Frustration. I feel frustration when things don't go my way. Fulfillment. I feel a sense of fulfillment in my work. Fun. I had a lot of fun at the party. Fury. I felt fury when I was insulted. Generosity. I appreciate her generosity. Glee. I felt glee when I saw my friends. Gratitude. I feel gratitude for your help. Grief. I felt grief after the loss. Guilt. I feel guilt for my actions. Happiness. I find happiness in simple things. Hate. I hate injustice. Helplessness. I feel helplessness in the face of disaster. Homesickness. I feel homesickness when I'm away from home. Hope. I have hope for the future. Hopelessness. I feel hopelessness when I think about the situation. Horror. I felt horror when I watched the scary movie. Hostility. One feel hostility towards my enemies. Humiliation. I felt humiliation after being criticized in public. Hurt. I feel hurt by his words. Hysteria. I felt hysteria after the accident. Impatience. I feel impatience when waiting in line. Indifference. I have indifference towards gossip. Inferiority. I feel inferiority when comparing myself to others. Insecurity. I feel insecurity about my appearance. Insult. I take his words as an insult. Interest. I have an interest in science. Irritability. I feel irritability when I'm tired. Irritation. I feel irritation when things don't go my way. Isolation. I feel isolation when I'm alone. Jealousy. I feel jealousy when I see others succeed. Joy. I feel joy when I'm with my family. Kindness. I appreciate your kindness. Liking. I have a liking for classical music. Loneliness. I feel loneliness when I'm away from my friends. Love. I feel love for my family. Loathing. I feel loathing for violence. Lust. I feel lust for adventure. Madness. I felt madness after the stressful day. Melancholy. I feel melancholy when I listen to sad music. Misery. I feel misery when I think about the past. Moodiness. I struggle with moodiness. Mortification. I felt mortification after the embarrassing incident. Negativity. I try to avoid negativity. Nervousness. I feel nervousness before public speaking. Nostalgia. I feel nostalgia when I look at old photos. Offense. I took offense at his rude comment.